So here's the thing. I'm trying to make this film, and it's about ancient Britain, you know, when bears used to live here. And the problem is I've got loads going on. There's going to be animations, and there's a live reading that kind of becomes stand-up. But the whole thing's a documentary, and it's got a little bit of personal growth in there as well. And let me just start at the beginning.
It's 10,000 years ago. That's 8,000 BC in Jesus' years. Times are changing in Europe. The glaciers are retreating. The world is warming. After 100,000 years, the Ice Age is ending. A new world is emerging, and the old guard of Europe have disappeared. Hyena, lion, mammoth. What remains? Elk, wolverine, bison, bear. This is their realm. So begins the final chapter in the story of wild Britain. I say Britain, we're not quite there yet. This was the British peninsula. 10,000 years ago, Britain wasn't an island at all.
Alright, Britain used to be attached to Europe via a big land bridge that looked like this. What it meant was animals could freely walk from Europe into the UK and vice versa via this big bit of low-lying land.
A warming climate isn't without consequences. Globally, sea levels were rising as the ice melted. The fate of the land bridge was dramatic.
8,000 years ago, an underwater landslide off the coast of Norway, here, triggered a tsunami that rolled down the east coast of Britain. All the low-lying land and everything on it would have been swept away. It would have seemed apocalyptic.
So there's your context. So why is it relevant? The isolation of Britain meant animals couldn't wander over from Europe anymore. What was there at the cutoff was there, and that was that. So, bears. Bears. Yeah! Bear in the audience. Yeah! Yeah! This is about me!
Yeah, bears used to live here. I think that's a key first point. They were definitely part of our fauna, and they're not here anymore. So, I mean, that's the story of bears in the last 10,000 years in a nutshell. It's then working out where they went, when they went, and what they were doing when they were here that I'm sort of trying to explore.
What were they doing when they were here?
So to begin with, they were just living their beary lives. They were out there in the woodlands or in open areas, looking for food, having cubs, and just being bears.
So a quick deep dive on bears. They eat meat, fish, berries, roots. They move fast. They weigh hundreds of pounds. Their sense of smell is incredible. In essence, they are massive food-finding machines.
So, they're Britain's largest land carnivore, and obviously, as I say, they're extinct. But here in front of us, we've got a cast of the skull of a bear. So you can see they are pretty big animals. So if we open it up like that, you can see all of the variety of different teeth it has. And we've got these big pointy ones at the front, the incisors and the canines, which are the really big pointy ones. And those are used for grabbing hold of prey and tearing chunks of meat.
They are a totemic figure of this new era, a period of time known as the Holocene. Of all the monsters of the night, this is the scariest. We have forgotten our ancestral relationship with these animals, with their world, because it was gone before we had learned to write it down. In our Neolithic drama, here is our protagonist. However, ancient Britain was home to a much wider cast of characters.
What kind of animals would have been living in this ancient British wilderness?
So Britain was a very different place then. We would have had all sorts of animals that we're not familiar with now. There would have been wolf, wild boar, the bear.
Beavers, moose, reindeer, walrus, lynx, and the aurochs. It wasn't the reception I was... The aurochs. It's not a pantomime. Right, it's the ancestral cow. Right. 1,000 kilos of grunting, snorting mayhem. All domestic cattle are descended from the wild aurochs. This domestication has bred some of the aggression away. The aurochs was by far the most dangerous animal in ancient Britain, and our burr would have steered well clear of it. I'm gonna just stand up for a second, and I'm gonna put this down. That auroch stuff kind of bombed, didn't it? Are we not like, do we not like big stuff anymore? When I was a kid, it was just, that's what was cool. An animal that I know exists, and in the past there was just a bigger one. That's good. Aurochs, it's a giant cow. We don't do big cow. I don't want to ruin the vibe of the whole thing, but it is a bit of a shallow landing from you guys. It's the biggest cow ever. Come for the bears, stay for the cows. That's great. That's kind of the peak of the thing, to be honest. That's the twist. Did you know there was a cow 20% bigger than a normal cow? Hey, it's fine. No, I've misjudged that. So don't worry. We'll skip the aurochs stuff. Humans are here too. And over the course of the Holocene, they're learning and developing. Human society is transitioning from one of hunter-gatherers to one of agriculture. People are starting to farm, terraforming the landscape of ancient Britain. But what was that landscape really like? Enter the Wildwood. The ancient forest was true wilderness. I question whether, in the eyes of the Neolithic people, this was a godless place or a place of gods. Whatever it was, it's gone now. The people of ancient Britain built megaliths, henges and stone circles. Today, these are reminiscent of the wilderness, but they were the skyscrapers of their time. There couldn't have been a more blatant sign to the bears of Britain that their world was disappearing. The odds are, by the time it was common knowledge that the bears were dead, they'd already been gone for hundreds of years. For the people of Britain, the inconvenience of the natural world steadily became apathy, and that apathy has remained ever since. Well, I was right there, wasn't I? Because if you look around, you'll notice a lot of empty seats. Tonight is the culmination of 10,000 years of human indifference. I mean, it would have been at odds with the message of this film if everyone had turned up. If the camera had panned around to a roaring crowd who was having an incredible time. Yes. Wouldn't really be the message I was trying to get across, that people don't care. I had to try and, reach and try and find ways that I could make this exciting. For you, the indifferent people of Britain, basically. So,
If I go up to someone in a bar and I say, did you know that bears used to walk around Ipswich? They'd go, oh, okay. But, what's happened here is if I go over to someone and I say, did you know that bears used to live in Ipswich? And a man had a breakdown about it. A man had a breakdown because some people didn't think his niche interest was good. So what's happened is I've gone to a lot of lengths to make a film about something that doesn't exist and no one cares. So what's really the point of all this? Have I created something so busy, so packed with half-baked concept that it creates the illusion that it means anything at all? I hope so. There is a message in here though. This world that I've tried to provide an insight to, it's gone. It's long gone. The UK is one of the most nature-depleted countries in the world, leading the way in environmental degradation. People are indifferent to this, and my hope was that, to some degree, showing you what we have already lost might be a new way to motivate a desire to protect what's not gone yet.
This world was and still is a place of imagination. The people of ancient Britain had their gods, and they had their monsters. They used them to explain the everyday.
The events that seemed like acts of vengeful deities, the cycles they witnessed year after year. They only had their surroundings to infer from, and so used their imaginations to construct myths and traditions and cultures that we only see hints of now. Whereas here, today, we have the full context. We know why things happen. We understand. But we no longer have the surroundings. We have to use our imaginations, our cultures, our art to have any idea as to what reality would have been when this island was once wild. But that is a forgotten world, the land of the bear. We must remember it again. So, what do you think? No? That's fine. It's great. No.